If you judge a mockingbird by the standards of a fish and in its environment, then the mockingbird will always seem inept, subpar, and like a fairly pathetic creature. If the mockingbird is judged by what a fish can do and how a fish lives, then the mockingbird will not be very impressive, especially if it's judged in the environment of the ocean. We can't always choose how society sees us, and we can't choose where we start out in society. I see a lot of people in the world being judged by what other people in society are good at, and judge it, and more importantly, for somebody's emotional stability. People judging themselves for not being as good at jobs or making money or having this or that. People are always judging themselves for that, being judged for it, but most of this judgment is internal judgment that eats us up. The external judgment sparks here and there, but all the pain happens inside. We are in a situation where we're not as connected to our grander communities. We don't have, a role, a function, a place. There isn't as strong social bonds because, thousands of years ago, hundreds of years ago, or 150 years ago, if people are struggling to survive in an area, every single person is valuable. Everyone is valued. And everyone finds a place by necessity so that everyone can survive together. The downside of having so much provided for us, at least in most places in the United States, and not having to struggle as much as, having food on your plate or having a place to sleep. Some people do in the United States still, but not having to struggle as much. It gives us a layer of comfort. Houses that aren't connected give us a layer of comfort. Individualized rooms and spaces away from others gives us security and comfort as an individual. We feel like we have more, but at the same time, we're a part of less. And that goes into property and possessions and all that, but we feel like we have more, but we're not as connected and we're not as needed. So a lot of people in society try to find a place, try to find a job that they like, make money, rise up in the company, whatever it is, or find a better company after getting some experience, or you just don't like that company. These are placeholders for meaning in our lives and placeholders for purpose. When so many of us feel like we lack purpose. And one good thing about, and this, I'm a bit of an optimist, I think that we're getting better. One good thing about where I see that we're headed is that more and more people are open to different spiritual ideas and broadening their horizons spiritually, intellectually, and learning about things. And the internet is so great for learning about so many different things. Overall, I think the internet is beneficial, and I think it's going to become more beneficial as this consciousness phase that we're in progresses, and as we evolve as spiritual beings. We're still in the darkness, and we're still coming out of the darkness. Most scientists and you could say intellectuals, they view the Enlightenment as a great freeing, but the Enlightenment was just you're no longer chained. But it doesn't mean you're enlightened. It doesn't mean that you've actually realized anything. It just means that you're not as chained by religion. Though overall, its effect on society is still detrimental and still chaining mentally. But I listened to this one scientist talk about how talk about seances and the Victorian era and all these superstitions that they've proven that don't exist. And I see other people addressing superstitions, things like that. Most seances weren't real, correct, but they feel that is an echo, and that is kind of one of the last gasps of religion or spirituality. The Victorian era obsession with certain superstitions like seances or you could say Ouija boards, things like that, and having that's the last gasp of not understanding spirituality, God, religions, things. That's the last gasp of fear that he's addressing. And many intellectuals and scientists think that fear and religion are the same thing. And we saw the last gasps of fear, or we're seeing the last gasps of fear. When in reality, we're seeing the first drawings in of breath after those gasps of fear. We're kind of transitioning. There's no space in between, it's a transition. We're gasping, and now we're starting to breathe slowly. In this transition period that we're in, which will last a few hundred more years, at least another 150. I could have high hopes, but I don't want to be like people in the 80s that thinking that in 2001, we're going to be, a bunch of people are going to be in space, on spaceships and space stations, things like that. We always jump the gun on these things. I think Yogananda said about 300 more years of this transition, but it is a positive transition. In this period, so many human beings, and the number will increase. I think most human beings, but the number will increase. We don't feel like we have purpose or meaning, or we're seeking. This is a seeking period. This is learning to breathe period. And the way society is structured, economics, mercantilism, it popped up by necessity in order to provide meaning, to provide ways, to provide paths where the old paths had died. Is capitalism, mercantilism, the economy, economics, the way that it is structured, is it meant to survive for thousands of years? I don't think so. But it popped up so that we could place money or job in the void, in the place where meaning should be. And then over time, we'll realize more and more that it doesn't fill that void. I wouldn't go as far to say that it makes it bigger, but it definitely doesn't fill us. If you feel like you are isolated, alone, or you don't have a meaning or purpose, and you just can't simply find a place in your community, in your society, you're not alone. And this is not just a you phase, this is a humanity phase. And other countries are, you could say, catching up to this same phase that the United States is going through. Other countries are in it. Other countries have a long way to go before they get to this phase that we're all in. Many people are still struggling to feed themselves, to eat. It's going to be a lot of pain for a long time before things really get better. But you're not alone. And I can't stress enough, educate yourself spiritually and intellectually, find other paths within yourself, find spiritual practices. Try. Don't expect society to give you meaning or fill that void. And don't expect the standards of a fish or the fish to make you feel like you can fly, or to give you the freedom to fly. And if you feel like a bird, just understand that you're in the wrong environment, but you can change your perspective. You can change your measuring scale. You can change how you assess yourself, and it doesn't have to be in relation to what you see around you, to society, to how much you have. What they can't take from you, what they can't judge you for, and what they can't even really see is who you truly are and your measuring scale. And it doesn't have to be the same as theirs. It doesn't have to be the same as other people's. Stop judging yourself by the standards of a fish especially when you feel like you can fly. At any rate, thank you very much for watching. Like this video, share wherever you like. Comments in the comment section below also help the algorithm send people my way. At any rate, thank you very much for watching, and I hope all of you have a wonderful day.